Good morning, all. So, I know I don't really post anything on this channel anymore, as it's been a bit slow and steady with the sort of jailbreaking, switch hacking scene, whatever you want to call it. But basically, it's all about Atmosphère these days, and it's quite a steady program, or whatever you want to call it, or steady hack now that updates only really come when they're necessary, instead of lots and here, and it's instead of being constant, it's good updates every couple of months or when absolutely necessary. So I've had a little look for a changelog, and there's only really, I can see why it's necessary for a few reasons, but the previous version of Atmosphère, so I think it's 1.4.0, was working perfectly fine with the latest Nintendo official firmware, so there was no need to update it. But there is actually something in the changelog down here about Fire Emblem Engage, it not working with prior. So that's probably why I've done it, because Fire Emblem Engage came out, I think, this week. But anyway, so Atmosphère has been updated to 1.4.1, and it's also got in bold at the top here, so it's really important to remember to update your fusee. So there's a fusee file down here. Make sure you download that, as well as the actual Atmosphère, and update both of those on your Switch. If you are using the all-in-one updater, you'll notice that it does that for you, but it is important that you do that if you're downloading the files. Excuse me. If you're downloading the files and copying over to your SD card, it's really important that you do that manually, get both files. So this was released 2 days ago, actually, about a day and a half ago, at 7 PM. But for some reason I completely missed this yesterday. And as usual, it's bundled with the homebrew menu. But it actually, really weirdly, it usually says here this update runs with, so like if you scroll down here, support for 15.0.0. So I believe we're on 15.0.1. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the current version of Atmosphère works with the latest version of Nintendo's official firmware. But usually it would say support for 15.0.1. I guess I don't need to put that because it works, or they just missed it for whatever reason. I had a look through this. As with most of these updates and changelogs, so much of it is above the basic user like myself. So lots of stuff about kernels and cheat toggles and ERPT reports. So much of that does not concern the basic user. It's good that they put it out there, so if people actually know what they're talking about, they can look at it. It says here something about there was a black screen, so it looks like it fixed some booting to make you think you haven't bricked your console or it's not working. But what it is there's what people must be using when building ROM FS for games. So there was clearly an issue with Animal Crossing here, where it had 99,000 files, and they thought that was the worst it could get. But Fire Emblem has 186,000 files, so double. So they have increased the memory to stop crashing occurring with that. So if you had it, I'm sure you're in the minority here, people who have used Animal Crossing and updating this ROM FS, or if you're doing Fire Engage and it's crashing, this will fix your problem. Once again, don't know what we're talking about here. Talk about applet pool and talk about memory. As always, general system stability improvements to enhance the user experience. So go and get this. It's always worth having the latest Atmosphère. It's not always worth having the latest Nintendo official firmware, because unless you've got a game that will not play without the latest one, there's no real point getting the latest ones. Stick on the most stable one for Atmosphère, but always get the latest Atmosphère. So Atmosphère, obviously being a sort of jailbreaking tool, whatever you want to call it, it is constantly going to need little tweaks and stuff, and change it, as it is not done. Well, I say it's not done by professionals. These people clearly know what they're doing when they're doing this, or even if it's one guy, that's crazy. I can't see it being one guy, but it might be. Don't get me. I'm not going to get caught up into that, but always have little tweaks and little things that will help a program like this work. So go and get the latest version of Atmosphère. 2 ways: download the files, copy it onto your SD card and reboot, or go and get automatic all-in-one updater from and it's like a homebrew app. I've showed it before on my channel. I'm sure you can find it, and these days I think you can't get it from the homebrew app store. I think you need to download it yourself and copy it across. Real easy to find. I find it a lot easier to do because I swear to God, every time I take my SD card out, it gets corrupt and I have to reinstall all my games. I don't know if it's my PC or my SD card reader or what, but I always have trouble with that, despite it being a really high quality SanDisk one. But this one's a bit different because Nintendo actually haven't updated. So usually I would be really on top of it saying, make sure you get this first before you update to Nintendo's firmware, because it'll cause trouble otherwise and more work for yourself. But you can just download this and install it, and Nintendo haven't had an update to coincide with this as the time of recording this on the 26th of January. But Nintendo, they could release an update tomorrow which could stop it. As always, don't install those. Anyway, go get it. It's on their GitHub. It's on the all-in-one updater. Go get it. It's pretty necessary, as it's got fixes in it. I would go get it. Always get from the GitHub, the official place. Don't download those sort of bundled things because they probably aren't updated, or it's just worth getting this. Anyway, thank you very much as always for watching this. This channel is no longer monetized, so yeah, because no monetized, they basically killed the channel and I stopped posting videos, and also the scene sort of slowed down a little bit. Anyway, thank you for watching. Take care.